President Trump is continuing to talk about sending U.S. citizens to prison in El Salvador. It's unclear exactly how this would work, but one thing seems likely. It would violate the U.S. Constitution and potentially several laws, including one that Trump himself signed in his first term. El Salvador's prisons are harsh, and they're also out of the reach of U.S. courts. That's one of the reasons Trump has pushed to try and send U.S. citizens to these prisons. He says he only wants to send violent offenders. But even violent offenders who are U.S. citizens are guaranteed access to U.S. courts and rights guaranteed in the U.S. Constitution that wouldn't be operative in El Salvador. Out of the gate, that would seem to make this clearly illegal and unconstitutional. Ironically, Trump himself championed and signed during his first term a law called the First Step Act. This criminal justice reform law requires federal prisons to try and house inmates within 500 miles of their homes so that the inmates' families can visit them and they can maintain connections to their community. El Salvador is far more than 500 miles from anywhere in the United States. So the very law that Trump himself signed would seem to prevent him from transferring U.S. prisoners to El Salvador. There are potentially some ways Trump could try and get a small number of citizens sent to prison in El Salvador. He would have to try and strip them of their U.S. citizenship first, because only immigrants can be transferred against their will to other countries. He can't strip natural-born citizens of their U.S. citizenship, but if somebody came to the U.S. as an immigrant and earned their citizenship, there are a couple of very specific reasons that the government can move to rescind their citizenship. They'd have to prove something like funding of terrorist organizations or lying on their naturalization applications or immigration forms. This has happened before, but very, very rarely. It is, however, a potential loophole that the administration could exploit. It's hard to see many other ways that the administration could legally send U.S. citizens to El Salvador.